where the Senate is expected to vote on a funding deal just hours ahead of the deadline to prevent a government shutdown. It passed the House today, 286 to 134. The only Iowa or Nebraska representative not to vote in favor of the proposal was Randy Feenstra. His district covers northwest Iowa, including Council Bluffs. The $1.2 trillion bill would fund departments, including Homeland Security, Labor, and Defense. If passed, all government agencies would be funded through September.